Good morning. It's day number 16. It dropped down to 20 degrees Fahrenheit last night, but I was surprisingly warm in my Kelty 20 degree comfort sleeping bag. I did have a couple fleece on and thermals top and bottom, along with a couple pair of wool socks, but held up surprisingly well last night. Having the hood on the sleeping bag makes a huge difference when the temperatures get cold. So today, headed towards Nevada and to the Great Basin National Park. Just got to get myself out of the sleeping bag and dressed and break camp. I do have breakfast. Hopefully it didn't freeze overnight. It's out in the hard cases in my bike. So it should be a good day. It's supposed to be clear today, and temperatures rising up to about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. I think this is hopefully the coldest that it will be on this trip. That's my hope, at least.
I left camp around 8:15, still below freezing, so I've got to be a little bit careful on these roads. I think they're all dry, but you never know. The temperature should rise quickly here in the next couple hours. Oh, what a pretty road this is. Wow. You just never know what you're going to run into on these roads. I wasn't expecting this first thing in the morning. Still headed west. This might be my last day heading west though. When I hit Nevada, it's as far as I needed or wanted to go on this trip in order to get into Nevada, which I've never been in before by motorcycle. Great Basin National Park is the goal. This jiffy windscreen that I have that's adjusted up a little bit but not terribly high provides a nice bubble of protection from the cold wind. Just being a little bit careful this morning, given that I saw some frost in some of the shadows on this road until it warms up a little bit more, and I'm confident that I have good grip on the pavement. I'm not going to push it up to the speed limit of 80. Still cool, 49 degrees, but at least it's not 20 like it was this morning. Almost downright balmy. Look how far that goes. We are at 4,000 miles on this trip right now on Highway 21, headed west. Still about 60 miles to go. The Great Basin National Park. Bike continues to operate superbly between my last trip, let's see, which is a little less than 15,000 miles, and this trip, which is 4, makes it at 19,000 miles. Traveling around the country, visiting the various states and national parks and state parks. They allow cows to wander across the highway. They have numerous signs warning you of it. I haven't seen a lot of it over the last few states, but there's a section back there where they were like grazing right up against the shoulder. They don't seem to really care. I definitely slowed down. You never know when one's going to try to bolt across the road. Just mentioned about cows out near the road. There's a good example of it. The speed limit here is 65 miles an hour. Got a calf, 2 calves with her. Don't want to hit those at speed. Well, that would be the end. There's one on this side. Yeah, hello to you. And here we have them crossing the road. Crossing the road and taking their good old time about it. Bunch of calves. Took 16 days, or the better part of 16 days. Go from Connecticut all the way out to my 46th state by motorcycle. That would be the great state of Nevada. State number 46, Nevada. Pacific time zone. Still about 12 miles from the national park. I spend some time at the national park and then start heading home. Great to be here. Really lucky. 2 more to go. We got Nebraska and Iowa. I am 5 miles outside of Great Basin National Park Visitor Center. There was fuel self-service at the little town of, I think, Baker that I was just in. So out in this part of the country, I try to fill up as frequently as I can because sometimes there are vast distances between stations. Great Basin National Park. A few campgrounds. This is the Wheeler Peak Scenic Drive, which is only open part of the way to the peak. I'm not sure whether it's snow or road problems. Most of this park is either Lehman Caves, which is reservation only and I couldn't get one, and the other possibility is hiking. And then the Scenic Drive, of which is, like I said, only a part of it is open right now. But we'll see what there is to see. Elevation 7,000 feet. There are a couple campgrounds here, but it's so early in the day that I think I'm going to start heading east. Try to make a couple hours of travel this afternoon. And it's a pretty mountain. Not much of a ride. Okay, so not much doing here in Nevada, but I did make the state. And now I'm going to start heading east. I did not note precisely the mileage when I turned around the Great Basin National Park. It was probably in the neighborhood of 4,060 miles, maybe 4,065. So goodbye to Nevada. Short visit, a couple hours, and back into Utah, headed east. Back there that said dust area, and sure enough, if you look out there to the right, you can see dust rising up through the air. Little dust devils forming where the swirling air. From 220 miles today, have another 100 miles to go. It'll turn it into a 320 mile day, which is pretty long for what I like to do. GPS shows that as water. Utah is just enormous. Look how far out in the distance that road goes. The mountains way out in the distance. So many of the states in the United States, you look at it on a map and it's like, oh, okay. And then you get there and it's like, wow, this is really, really big. I'm cruising along here, 65, 70 miles an hour. It just goes on forever. It's written as S-E-V-I-E-R, Sevier Lake. I don't know whether that's the lake bed I'm looking at. It certainly can't be water. The white coloration. The thing I don't like about these state highways is they don't have like rest areas or even pull-off spots for the most part. So when I get out here, I feel like I got to keep going. There's very little traffic, so I could probably pull over to the side. There's no shoulder, and stop and rest. But because there's no shoulder and there's no pull-off area, I'm at risk for some car coming along and not being attentive, car or truck not being attentive to me on the side of the road. So I feel compelled on these roads, rightly or wrongly, to just keep moving until I get into a town where I can pull over and stretch my legs. Provo, Utah. home of Brigham Young University. 412 miles. Still have another 2 or 3 to go. Hopefully there's a campground here for me. Wasatch Mountain State Park